For the past 2 years, our Helldiver armor has served proudly in the care of divers across Super Earth, taking them from Hellmire all the way to the door of Cyberstan. This is our badass Helldiver armor, and it's outdated.
What?
That's right, our original Helldiver helmet sculpt that we made over 2 years ago when the game first came out got a little bit outdated because we didn't have the best references when we first made it. However, we've updated our mold now so that we're able to get these nice casted helmets from the much more accurate sculpt. We're going to show you how to work with the casted helmet. We're going to show you how to get this nice chrome diver paint job. And if you're excited for more Helldiver stuff, we're working on lots. We've still got the defoliator tool. We've got the sledgehammer. We've got the null cipher armor. We already did the helmet, but now we're working on the armor. People really seem to enjoy the armor, but I can't quite put my finger in it, on it. Now our Helldiver helmet files have already been remastered to be more game accurate and better optimized for cosplay and 3D printing. And with that comes a new professional grade helmet. But when I say professional, what does that really mean? A pro-grade Helldiver helmet from Galactic Armory features a resin casted helmet built for durability and includes an updated design with some more pronounced lines, cleaner cuts, and more accurate details. Inside the helmet features more room for custom electronics and adjusted geometry for a wider range of heads, all while not taking away the helmet's unique design. It's like going from RTX off to RTX on. So today we're going to be passing on the knowledge on how to finish these helmets so that at the end of the day you're getting a quality product that is durable, ready to paint, and most importantly, rated 5 stars in the Superstore. And with that, I'm going to pass you off to Gotti here, who's going to take you through the helmet build tutorial, and you're going to do it in full kit.
Why am I doing this in full kit?
It's either build the new helmet or no Cyberstan invasion for you.
Alright, so apparently I'm taking you through this entire build process, which I'm wearing actual PPE. I don't want to repaint my armor. That being said, the first step is here at our rotocaster, in which I've already got the new B-01 mold anchored. This mold is based on a master, which is printed in full resin, sanded, smoothed, and then sent out for molding. Once it returns, we're able to use it for up to 300 pulls of our helmet. And back on the rotocaster, I'm measuring out our resin, anchoring our molds, applying our mold release, and pouring our resin and running the machine. And I'll be making a total of 4 pours via the bunghole of the mold. And that's right, I said bunghole. Sometimes things are easier to understand in the simplest of terms. With that, each cycle takes about 15 minutes of full rotation on our rotocaster. You know, I've always been curious, what does the mold see when it's going around? No, we're not doing that again. I'm gonna go. And with our helmet cast completed, we've demolded it, handed off one of our packing specialists, wrapped it up with love and care, secured it in the best corrugated fiberboard cubes, and then carefully shipped it off to one of our trusted couriers that will safely transport it to your front door. You get your package, open it up, and you can't see out of your helmet. So everyone's head's a different size. We do a basic trim, just that's how the parting line is from when we cast the helmet. But while this at a basic trim will fit my head, it won't fit somebody like Aaron, who he's got a different head size. You'll have to trim a little bit on the back here. The techniques we're gonna show you can transfer across all of our cast helmets, all across any cast helmet, really. The physics is all the same. So I've got this foam sheet here because we have a really nice surface finish and I don't wanna scratch it all up and make more work for myself. So put on some foam, and I've gone ahead and marked out some plunge holes, kind of like relief cuts on a bandsaw, where I'm gonna be drilling. Just a basic drill, take it, and you're gonna go slowly across the entire helmet. You can also notice that I've pre-marked some holes for the vents. Now, with these cast kits, we actually provide the gridleys, you know, the side clip and the vents are hollow, so these will be functional, which means you won't be fogging yourself up. I like to drill a couple of holes in here and then hit it with a file to clean it up. Now, you want to make sure to keep the drill in the same plane pretty much at all times, just for safety and consistency, and move the helmet around. You also want to be aware of where your fingers are and respect to where the drill is going. And you don't want a high speed, you want to keep it slow. If you go too fast, you'll actually run the risk of ripping the helmet out of your hand and launching it across the room. Take extra care around the corners, interior corners specifically, because you want to try to match up the radius of the drill with the radius of the corner. Once you get the whole thing done up like this, there's a variety of different ways you can do it. Here, we use a pneumatic, high-speed steel cutting wheel. Not everybody has access to that. I've cut up a whole bunch of helmets with a cheap online special rotary cutter with an abrasive cutoff wheel. The one thing you're gonna have to keep in mind if you do that is to do it in a well-ventilated area and wear breathing protection. Not only are you making dust from cutting resin, you're also gonna be burning it, so you don't wanna breathe that in. You could also just use a cheap jewelry saw blade, kind of like this, line it up inside the hole, and just cut through each section. The benefit of these is you can kind of curve them around if you need to get on inside corners, and you don't burn it. One of the downsides to this method is all of these little undulations. It's like waves, right? You know, you have the peak and the valley of the wave. To smooth this out, I personally like using some nice flat cut files, but you can use sandpaper or sanding sticks, whatever abrasive media you like. Just make sure not to over sand it. Because we've pre-sanded and front loaded all of the work for you with these cast kits, I can go right into laying down this Luna 1 Black 2K. Now, the reason we want this kind of finish on this helmet is because we're working with chrome. You need a high gloss to get that level of reflectivity that really makes chrome helmets pop. The good thing about this stuff though is that it's honestly pretty accessible. It's not the cheapest paint, you know, actually 50 bucks a can, give or take, depending on shipping. But I can do a whole chrome diver kit with one can of this stuff because it's got even coverage, it sticks, it works, it's a base coat and a top coat, but it's just good stuff and anyone can buy it. The main problem with it is that you have to make sure that it sets over 24 hours in a dust-free environment.
24 hours later.
All right, so we're here at the airbrush station. I've got the black gloss base coat on the helmet. And you know, you've seen us use stuff like Alumiluster in the past here. In this case, we're not doing that. This time we're gonna be using the TDA Maker Supply Duralumen. This is an airbrush ready chrome paint. And if you don't have an airbrush or you don't wanna use an airbrush, you can by all means use graphite and just do a traditional graphite rub on this piece. It's slightly leaking. I'm applying our Duralumen on the Iwater Revolution airbrush with 15 psi of pressure and keeping my airbrush a good 6 or 7 inches from the helmet at all times. I'm really trying to apply it as gently as possible because a little bit of this stuff goes a long way, and I can always go back and apply more later if I feel I need to touch up certain areas. Duralumen also dries incredibly quickly, so after about 15 minutes, we're able to move on and apply our FDM printed greeblies. These printed parts come with every Pro B-01 kit, and we're also primed with our Luna 1. After a quick application of CA glue, I can move on to the visor. Much like our helmets, visors are left untrimmed in case users need a little extra room. So after a quick trim to meet this helmet's needs, I hot glue my visor in. And it's done.
Got it. This looks amazing. It's got a nice chrome to it, and look, I can actually fit my giant head in this thing.
Yeah, you couldn't do that in the last
I
ones.
could not do that in the last version, so really fun looking helmet. Love the chrome on it. How was working with Duralumen?
I mean, start to finish, it was about 5 or 6 minutes from spray on to let it sit. It went on easy, went on quick, and it dried quick. Like
self-sealing?
self-sealing, that's the Dura and Duralumen.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, I know. But no, like it's good, it's affordable, it goes on clean.
Overall, the helmet got an amazing update for quality of life, better fitting, easier to paint and finish.
And if you like that update on the helmet, we're gonna be taking another look at a well-loved kit with some old school techniques. Stay tuned for more.
Helldiver.
Hey, Inspector, is it weird that I've got democracy growing in my stratagems?
It's weird that you're telling me.
Jamie, stay. You go. Right there. Yeah, bro.